Welcome to the Town of Vesuvius regular open meeting of council, September 24th, 2024 at 2 p.m. in council chambers. So first off, the approval of the agenda, and are there any late items? Mrs. Rumson, thank you. So could we have a motion, please? Councillor King, Councillor Bennett, all in favor? Thank you. And the adoption of some minutes, that would be the regular open minutes from September the 10th, 2024. Could we have a motion to adopt those, please? Councillor Bennett, Councillor Poderica, all in favor. Thank you. And we will now go down to water matters. And this would be water regulations and rates amendment bylaw and water district rates and regulations amendment bylaw and municipal ticketing. Mr. Risling.
Thank you, Your Worship. As council may recall, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about this. This is basically making changes to the bylaw that in effect will implement fines for those that did not comply with the request for water meters. And so I don't think I need to go over much more. So we're asking that council adopt water regulations and rates amendment bylaw number 1388.02 2024, water district rates and regulations amendment bylaw number 1357.08 2024, municipal ticketing information amendment bylaw number 1279.23 2024.
Thank you. So we're going to deal with the first two, the water regulations and the water district rates as well. And those can be voted on together. And they were both the first, second, and third reading of both of those bylaws was held on September the 10th. So we're looking for the adoption of those two bylaws today. Is it Councillor Poderica? Anyone seconding it? Councillor Bennett. Thank you. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Thank you very much. And the next thing is the municipal ticketing information amendment bylaw number 1279.23. And it was also read for a first, second, and third time on September the 10th. So we're looking to have that one adopted. Could I have a motion, please, to adopt that? Councillor Bennett, Councillor Poderica, all in favor. Thank you very much. And next are the water accounts. And that would be Water District 8 and 9 financial accounts, and to report on expenditures from accounts payable as of September the 24th, 2024. That is in the amount of $138,817.16. So we're looking for the options, please, to either reference above for information or to ask for additional. So can I, pardon me? Yes, you absolutely, you would move it for information purposes. Yes, that's option 1, or to request additional information is option 2. So option 1. Okay, so you're to receive the cash requirements referenced above for the information, and you've got them all listed here, all of the information. So are you seconding that, Councillor Appleby? Okay. Okay, so we will ask everyone to vote. All in favor. Thank you very much. Okay, and we will go down to staff reports. Council support for emergency planning grant. Is that Mr. Risling?
Thank you, Your Worship. Administration tries seeking grants wherever possible, and as council is aware, unfortunately, disasters are becoming the commonplace rather than the exception. Fortunately, the provincial government realizes the strain that municipalities have and the importance of actually planning for these disasters. And so there's a grant opportunity out there. And so we want to take advantage of that. We do want to work with the RDOS as they say, one region working together. And so we're in communications with them to, I guess, supplement each other and gain efficiencies in the overall planning function if we are successful in the grant application. So this is requesting council to actually give us the approval to apply for the grant. We don't know the exact amounts as of yet, but unfortunately, there's, as usual, very quick turnaround times. So we're gonna do what we can as far as researching and continuing dialogue with the RDOS to ensure that we're getting the biggest bang for a buck, not only from a town perspective, but regional as well. So you're basically asking council for permission to apply for the grant. and we will
Absolutely.
do so.
Thank you very much. Councillor King, you're move that. Is there a seconder? Councillor Chong is seconding that. All in favor? Certainly not something we would argue with, is it? That's a good one. So next is the general Sun Bowl and cash requirement Sun Bowl net payroll accounts as of September 24th. Cash requirements $439,075.03. Sun Bowl cash requirements of $6,922.06. And net payroll accounts $117,058.04. So could we have a motion, please, to accept those for information? Thank you. Councillor Poderica, Councillor Chong, all in favor. Thank you. And next is the 5-year financial plan amendment bylaw. And it's just for consideration for adoption. So I don't have a report here on that. It's just that it has been read a first, second, and third time on September the 10th. So today we're looking for adoption.
A question.
Yes, go ahead.
To CIO, I just wondered their authorization number 4, why our financial person, Jim Zackel, isn't on here and you're on here twice.
I think we got a little, you're talking about the actual bylaw itself?
No, number 4 at the top.
CAO, deputy.
Yeah, Director of Finance Service. Oh, that's both of you.
Yes.
Okay, I read it wrong. I apologize.
Okay.
So Mr. Zackel is the deputy CAO as well. Yeah. Okay, so does that, could we have a motion, please, to adopt this bylaw? Thank you. Councillor Poderica. Is there a seconder? Councillor Chong. All in favor? Thank you. Against? No? Go. Thank you. All right. The next one is, I think it says Ms. Duong, but I'm assuming it would be Mr. Garish. Am I correct? Mr. Garish. And this is the Board of Variance bylaw 1398. Thank you for attending.
My pleasure. I'll just give a really brief overview because I know this was discussed at length in committee at the last meeting, but the Local Government Act requires that every local government in the province that's enacted a zoning bylaw has to have a Board of Variance established as well. And the town has had a Board of Variance bylaw for a number of years, but as we've realized recently, the current bylaw speaks to a joint Board of Variance with members appointed in conjunction with the regional district. Unfortunately, the regional district doesn't have a comparable regional/joint bylaw. So that's presented a bit of a problem in terms of renewing and appointing people to the town's Board of Variance. And so really what's before council today is an updated bylaw that removes that reference and will allow the council to appoint its own members to the Board of Variance going forward.
Thank you very much. We did have quite a discussion about this Board of Variance at the last meeting. So today what we're looking for is that it be read a first, second, and third time. Thank you, Councillor King. Councillor Chong, all in favor? Thank you very much. And Mr. Garish, that would be you again, please. This is the zoning bylaw number 1395, 2024. Go ahead, please.
We can't hear
Sorry,
you.
Mr. Garish, can you?
Sorry, I forgot
Sorry.
to mute myself. Yeah, again, just for council's benefit, really quick overview. So this is the culmination of the zoning bylaw review update that's been going on for the better part of the last 2 years. And we've had previous readings as well as the public hearing. I believe we had to obtain approval from the Ministry of Transportation, which has now been acquired. And so before council today is the bylaw for adoption.
Thank you. Could we also mention that that the town of Vesuvius got the extension of 4 years on the zoning bylaw. That has apparently been announced. We heard about it last week and it's been announced and we've read about it in the paper. So that's a positive
is.
on the zoning bylaw. Am I correct, Mr.
Yes.
Garish?
Yes, it allows the town 4 years to undertake the identified upgrades to the water and sewer system. But yes, there is a deadline. So at the end of that 4 or 5 years, I can't remember if it's 2029 or 2030, council will have to amend the bylaw in order to meet the minimum density requirements in the Local Government Act, which we've discussed before, is the 3 to 4 units per parcel based on land area, 280 square meters being the dividing line between the two.
I find it a little difficult to hear, Mr. Garish, but is there any way we can turn it up? We do know that that the official community plan and the zoning bylaw can be adjusted. They're living documents so that if there is something that needs to be done in the future, that can happen. All right, so what we're looking for is that can they be done together? Yes, that the zoning bylaw and the official community plan be adopted today. Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Chong. All in favor? Thank you very much, everyone. And we will now go on to, we have one more, Mayor and Council meeting report. And we have a request from Councillor Bennett to have a out-of-town meeting of $100, and that would be for the Okanagan Library Board meeting in Kelowna. Would someone like to okay that? Thank you, Councillor King, Councillor Chong, all in favor. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so we'll go back to our CAO report, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. As usual, there's a lot of things going on in the community. Yes, some of the things that are upcoming here is tomorrow night is the Recreation Master Plan open house at the Sonora Center, starting at 5:30. So we really encourage the community to get out, provide feedback. I think the other thing that's fairly important, especially to a lot of our nonprofits, which is the lifeblood of the community, the RMI grant and the Community Services Grant program have been opened up. And so if you're seeking support from the town, please get your submissions in by the deadline of October 31st. Terry Fox Run was held at on September 15th, and there were nearly 50 participants, and they raised just over $4,000. The annual pass sale ran last week, and 251 annual passes were sold. And let's see here. Fire department's got Fire Prevention Week coming up, and so they are actually going to be having an open house on October 12th from 10 to 2. So I want to bring that up now because we don't have a council meeting before that. So I want to give them a bit of a heads up, or the public a heads up. And obviously Fire Prevention Week, we hear this every year, October 6th to 12th. Smoke alarms. Very important piece, and definitely encourage people to change batteries, and more importantly, if you don't have a smoke alarm or it's old, please replace it. As far as new businesses in town, we got a business called Crow's Nest and Caraflow of Canada, both contractors that are new to the community. There was a change in ownership name. The treat land was formerly Morelli Kettle Candy. From operational services, they obviously help out nonprofits. I'm sure it's gonna be talked about later, Lobster on the Beach. And they're also installing a lot of memorial beaches this time of year that we usually install those. So I think there's 10 going in. And just so people are aware, so 85th Street Plaza there's still some deficiencies. I know we've had concerns regarding the sprinklers, that type of things. Those things were defective when we put in, which we knew. And those are being replaced. So their replacements, however, are on back order, but we are aware that they do not work. But we put them in anyways because they were partially working during our heated season there. So we're aware of that, and that's about it. Let's council have some questions.
Thank you very much. Could we have a motion, please, to accept the CAO report for information? Counselor Bennett, Counselor Chong, all in favor. Thank you. And we'll go on to council reports. Counselor Bennett, you're first.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A little longer one today. On September 11th, attended the Okanagan Regional Library Board. And basically it was a quarterly board meeting. And so the new system-wide improvements represent an average of per user funding increase of just 65 cents. If you can believe that. So there's eight of the libraries got all updated this year, including the course opening of the new one in West Kelowna. And basically in West Kelowna and Vernon and Kelowna, they're having problems. They put a thing in called Brave sensors. And what it does is they go in the washrooms, and if somebody goes in there, they've been having problems with people going in there and then blacking out. So now they have a Brave sensor, and if somebody goes in there and if they stop breathing, it'll automatically let the front gate person know. So it's pretty bad down there. And basically the increased opening hours of 4 branches, long-term contracts, union employees are done. They're installing more upgraded wireless and software programs, and including 1,000 unique and engaging programs in 2024. Then on September 16th, I attended the UBCM, and I'll kind of go through this short because I'm sure all the everybody was going to want to talk about it. But Monday morning, we started off the meetings with on-schedule meeting with a group of other concerned communities and regional districts represented from around the province concerned with emergency room closure and doctor shortages in smaller rural communities. Basically boiled down to funding, recruitment, and retention. And I'm sure Mayor Sue McCordoff will speak more on that. Some of the participants have been successful in staying open mainly to early days of putting together a strong recruitment team. Basically what it kind of comes down to is you got to sell your town to the doctors to get them to come. And it's kind of unfair if you don't have a strong industry base because you don't have those swimming pools and other attractions to be competitive. So the rest of the week was attending forums with many interesting topics, big concerns province-wide, including rising costs for every community due to climate change affecting from the result of forest fires, floods, droughts. And other topics relating to complex care facilities, concerns about homeless, drugs, ongoing mental issues, affordable housing, human wildlife conflicts that expand further into wilderness, assisted living for seniors, cybersecurity, water and sewer infrastructure, funding and affordability, invasive mussels, Indigenous rights, contaminated work sites, library funding, logging, wildfire impacted areas, bullying and defamatory attacks on local government, downloading costs by the province, local governments, plus many more other concerns. So that's why we went through in 226 pages. That's part of it. So when you attend the UBCM, you get exposed to a lot of potential problems other communities are going through. And the positive is that everybody is coming up with solutions. So in the future, you're already prepared for those situations if they end up in your community. And lucky for us that we drilled our wells. I just heard last night that and found manganese and starting to look at lake options as in West Kelowna is just new $75 million treatment plant. They have there again all kinds of complaints now of manganese and brown water. So it's a big problem. Then I attended the MIBC board meeting and AGM. And basically was regarding going 12 hours a day, but well worth the time and energy spent to attend. There's so much more that I could report, but need to leave time for my colleagues to share their experience.
You've given us quite an overview of everything, so you can tell we were busy. Okay, thank you, Councillor Bennett. Councillor Chong.
Thank you. I mean, without having to overlap with a lot of what Councillor Bennett has touched on. So the biggest highlights, attended UBCM obviously, but specifically I attended a town hall session with Minister Dix, Minister of Health, and Minister Singh, Minister of Child Care, and and really had the opportunity to have some face-to-face conversation with Minister Dix regarding advocating for healthcare for our specific communities, both Oliver and Osoyoos. So really going to be following up directly with staff and whoever the incoming minister is. So we are working hard to advocate to make sure that our constituents are taken care of and do have access to a family doctor. With that said, also, I just wanted to give another huge kudos to Dr. Robin Craven and the subcommittee out in Oliver for a successful tour with incoming medical residents that occurred the Wednesday last week. So really kind of using those same strategies of highlighting the beauty and the inclusiveness that is this year's Oliver, but next year we've been promised that Osoyoos will also be highlighted as well. So really excited to start planning for that. Also during UBCM, we met directly with Minister Kang, Minister of Municipal Affairs, really just following up on our water treatment issues because they are number one top priority for us, for this administration. So of course, this is an election year, so no promises can be made, but doing everything we can to make sure we're top of the line with regard to future grant funding. And without going too much more, one of the really cool kind of case studies for one of the lectures was with Rossland and their town hall. And I think it was 2019 when there was unprecedented snowfall levels to the point where their roof for their town hall semi-collapsed while there was actually a staff member inside. So they heard the beams breaking and luckily got out with no issues. But of course, now you're having to operate a full town without a base of operations, and just hearing and hearing what they learned, so that I mean, not just with any town hall, but with how to deal with emergency protocol and things like that. Again, learning from our colleagues and from our peers so that we don't have to make those same mistakes. So very cool to see the funding structures and how to create a hybrid residential and town hall structure. Lots of creative solutions, which is really awesome. And that really just touches on a little bit of it. It was, there were long days. There are long days, but yeah, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Chong. Councillor Bonarica.
Your worship, I on September 11th attended Osoyoos's quarterly meeting, and then of course was with everybody else at UBCM for the week after. I started bright and early Monday with a session on the Emergency Disaster Management Act in action. So that was the start of my day, and then continued throughout the week. We were in Elcott with the rest of our colleagues. Really good opportunity this over the past week to meet with our other municipalities, both not just regionally, but those that we don't get to see, the rest of the year, have some good discussion, in terms of the challenges that we all face as municipalities. Some good opportunities to meet with ministers, specifically Mr. Kang, who we had the fortunate privilege to meet with a few times throughout the week this time. So always appreciate working with the Minister of Municipal Affairs. And that's my report.
Thank you. And Councillor King.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I guess you saved the best to last. Did it to everything. They were actually long days for 4 days, though. I did attend 4 different workshops. Also, all the resolutions. There was over 150 resolutions. And just so you're aware, you start at 7:30 in the morning and you go to about dinner time. They're long days, but you do learn a lot and you get to see networking and resolutions get passed and defeated. But I think the most important I learned was talking to other delegates through the 4 days and find out in this province, the biggest problem is water. Water, water, water. So we're not alone in the province. We wish us the best. We're going to look forward to all the grants we can. And like I heard earlier, we met with Municipal Affairs, Minister Kang, which is charging the money. Hopefully she gets reelected and we get to talk to her again next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor King. So I'll try and fill in some of the parts that I went to that haven't already been talked about. On September the 11th, I went to the Collaborative Leadership Initiative, which is the Okanagan and Similkameen watershed. It's a table of mayors and regional district chairs and native chiefs. And we had, this is the third time that we have met. And we're looking at how to work together to look after, guess what? Water. So it seems to be a key issue on that one. So then we were at UBCM, and I went down on the Sunday because I had a meeting on Sunday night with the Highway 3 Coalition. And that's the mayors and chairs from Hope to the Alberta border. And we talk about specific areas along that route that need attention. And the next day, there was a meeting with the Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure about the top 5 list. And there, once one thing has been dealt with, then of course, another top 5 list comes along. One of the 5 on the list is Whipsaw Creek, which is on the Hope Princeton. So there's lots of others, but we meet 2 or 3 times a year, and it's always a very interesting group of people. And the Minister of Highways and the highway personnel are always appreciative of our input onto what we think are the most important issues. I attended a meeting with Minister Dix on the Tuesday with Oliver, and their council was there, and I was there as well, because we were asking Minister Dix to approve some land either by the hospital or by Sunnybank to build some housing for healthcare workers, people that are coming to work in the hospital, maybe on contract, maybe for long-term, doctors, all kinds of healthcare workers. And fortunately, we heard the following day that the land at Sunnybank has been okayed, and so that then that starts the process of putting in, getting together some plans and some money and everything else to build a place up there. So that's a really good idea, and I was there because I had gone with them with Interior Health a couple of months ago to have a look at these properties. And of course, Oliver and Asuyas look after the hospital. So things seem to be at least being talked about. And right after that, I was at the same meeting with Minister Bennett, where we were talking with other small communities that are having difficulty with hospital closures. And we see it, usually it's on a weekend, and many of the small hospitals in the province are having the similar problem of lack of doctors to look after the emergency room. So there was talk of looking at getting a working group together and probably including the Minister of Health. So we'll have to wait and see what that looks like. I was also at a meeting with Minister Baines, who is the Labor Minister, and that was interesting because we were talking about a lot of harassment and problems that communities are having amongst themselves and with the public. So that was quite an interesting one. I went to an interesting workshop one afternoon on security of your food supply and how the different places around the province, how they're helping to try and maintain food on agricultural land, of course. And that's a really important thing because unfortunately, some large plots of agricultural land have been turned into housing. And if our population is increasing, we need to be able to feed the people that are here. And then the Parks Master Plan is tomorrow night. And also the next week, during the week, on October 3rd, which is Thursday, the International Asuyas Lake Board of Control is meeting in Asuyas. The meetings are here, and the annual meeting is 1 year in Asuyas, 1 year in Oroville. And this year it's in Orville on the Thursday night. And the public is certainly invited. And I know that there are some concerns that people have about water levels and fish passage and that type of thing. So that is the time to come and listen to it. I did see the invitation in the paper, in the Times Chronicle. So if you want any more information on that, I'm on the board of directors and I'd be happy to help. Give some information on that. And I just wanted to mention that that our MLA, Rolly Russell, has been very good at keeping us informed and meeting with us and contacting us. So we just want to thank him for doing that. So that's my report, and I will now go into the in-camera session that pursuant to section 91 of the community charter or part of the council meeting may be closed to the public if the subject matter being considered relates to one or more of the following: 91C, labor relations or other employee relations, or other, that's in twice. It's section 91I, the receipt of subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that. 91M, a matter that under another enactment is such that the public may be excluded from the meeting under FOIPA. Section 16, disclosure harmful to intergovernmental relations or negotiations. Could I have a motion, please? Thank you. Councillor Poderica.